Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Golf Ontario Virtual Annual General Meeting, Golf for All. My name is Abigail Dove. I am a reporter for CBC Kids News and Sportsnet. I am so excited and honored to be your host for this year's annual general meeting. After the challenges of golf during COVID, 2022 was a welcoming change. As a golfer and fan of the sport, I was really proud of how the golf industry came together to deliver an amazing year of golf. We should continue to work together to ensure golf remains strong. For Golf Ontario, faculties are the core of what we do, and we thank you for your participation today. As we are participating virtually today, all of today's presentations are being recorded if you need to step away for any reason. Now, prior to this meeting, I would like to conduct a land acknowledgement, recognizing that Golf Ontario covers the whole of the province. Golf Ontario acknowledges and respects the Indigenous people of Ontario that for hundreds of generations have been the keepers of the territories where we all live and work. I would now like to welcome Golf Ontario's president, Dr. Susan Vale. Susan has been a hugely important contributor to the recent success of Golf Ontario. Now, over to Susan for her opening remarks.
Good morning. 2022 has been another year of firsts with our inaugural Regional Support Strategy Summit, all-time membership highs, the return of the Ontario Open, and the first ever Indigenous Championship. Our new strategic plan as well. Unfortunately, the resignation of our highly respected CEO has also happened in 2022. I think I can speak on behalf of all of us when I say that Mike has been an outstanding leader and that Golf Ontario is in a much better position to serve its members and grow the game as a result of his many contributions. At the same time, we are excited about welcoming new leadership. In preparation for this transition, we have taken some steps to stabilize the governance of the organization by recommending that our current board members remain in place for the upcoming year while we acclimatize our new CEO and launch our new strategic plan. There have been many highlights for me through my term as president. The lion's share of credit for our accomplishments over the past 2 years goes to the dedicated, knowledgeable people who devote their time to this sport. I am, of course, talking about Mike Kelly and his senior staff team of Kyle, Asia, and Nick. But I'm also talking about the entire staff of Golf Ontario and our amazing volunteers. Also included in this talented group are our We Are Golf partners and the terrific job they did at keeping golf open during the heart of COVID and the highly valued support that we received from Golf Canada. We reorganized our board meeting agendas to better reflect the key pillars in our strategic plan to help us stay out of the weeds and focus squarely on the achievement of our priorities. In addition to board committees, we established several work groups, co-chaired by board members and senior staff. These collaborative work groups have not only elevated our accomplishments, but also more fully engaged both board and staff members. Last but not least, we have begun to educate ourselves about equity, diversity, and inclusion so that we can better understand how we need to collectively look and act in order to truly welcome non-traditional groups and individuals into the golf world. I would like to take a minute and speak about my board colleagues. Strong governance leadership is essential to the success of any organization, and I was privileged to work with a board that always put the best interests of Golf Ontario above their own agendas. They are truly trustees of the sport. Leslie Ferrari, our incoming president, and I established a very good relationship over my term, consulting on every major decision and ultimately, often after lengthy discussion, found common ground. She is the right person to lead Golf Ontario through this upcoming transitional year, and I wish her every success. I think a few words about Mike are in order before I wrap up. Mike has been with Golf Ontario for 17 years and in a leadership role for 7 of those. His clear vision for the future of golf and Golf Ontario has been a major driving force, and many aspects of his vision are now embedded in our strategic plan. It is a rare individual who can move from vision to action, but Mike has achieved this. He's one of the most authentic people that I know, and his enthusiasm for his work is contagious and inspiring. He makes you feel like you can take on the world. It has been such a pleasure to work with him. He will most certainly be missed, but no one is more deserving of this opportunity with the Southern California Golf Association than Mike. He has earned this fantastic next step in his career, and we wish Mike and his family the very best as they begin their new adventure. Thank you, Mike, for your amazing legacy.
Thank you, Susan, for all that you have done. You have been a great resource for Golf Ontario. Here now is Leslie Ferrari, Golf Ontario's incoming president. Leslie joined the board in 2016 and has served on various committees and working groups. During the 1980s, Leslie played professionally on the Futures Golf Tour in the US for 5 years. Today, she remains an avid recreational golfer. Please join me in welcoming Leslie.
It has been an honor to serve on the board of directors for Golf Ontario over the last 4 years. I'm particularly grateful to have observed 3 key initiatives, namely the reinstatement of the Ontario Open after a 30-plus year hiatus. It's now returning with the inclusion of an All Abilities Championship. We also launched the Indigenous Ontario Championship, the first provincial championship of its kind in North America. And lastly, the initiation of a network that provides support to our facilities through the regional support strategy. It's also important to recognize the deepening collaborative efforts that have resulted from a growing alignment with industry partners. These actions plus future realities have culminated in the 2023 through 26 strategic plan. This plan builds on our momentum that is reflected in the revised mission. We shape lives by connecting people to positive golf experiences. This statement captures the essence of Golf Ontario programs, services, and actions. Connecting people centers our attention on what is needed to broaden the base of golfers in Ontario by continuing to attract underrepresented groups to golf while staying true to our strong base of golfing enthusiasts. Facilities remain the center of this plan, particularly in the pillars of participation and membership. Participation will continue to emphasize women and youth programming with a focus on community partnerships, recreational play, and the expansion of the regional support network. Through these and other initiatives with strong industry partners such as Golf Canada and We Are Golf, this plan continues the promise to deliver value and service in all our membership efforts to sustain and grow facilities, groups, and public members. We are forced to recognize a bittersweet moment as we say so long to Mike Kelly, the dedicated and inspirational CEO of Golf Ontario. After 17 years, Mike leaves knowing this organization, where he has given so much, is well equipped to take on the challenges of the ever-changing golfing landscape. Mike has a tough next opportunity with the Southern California Golf Association, and we wish him every success south of the border as he continues raising the banner of golf for all. Mike is leaving the senior leadership team of Asia Crawford, Nick Taylor, and Kyle McFarland, all very skilled leaders who have the complete confidence of the board of directors. As we transition to new leadership, with most board members remaining in place, we underscore our commitment to continuing with the 3 foundational initiatives: the regional support strategy, equity, diversity, and inclusion, and the attraction of public players. Working towards the goals outlined in this plan, Golf Ontario will connect and align closely with our golf industry partners, associations, sponsors, and member groups. This, however, is insufficient to provide the resources needed to broaden the base in Ontario. Over and above these trusted partners, we plan to deepen our association with governments at all levels. Golf is a sport that supports health, well-being, and community. It contributes to a society where there can be inclusion for all. Last year, Golf Ontario was fortunate to receive funding for our programs over and above the base annual grants received from the Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and Sport. We believe golf can make a positive impact for the people of Ontario, and we are planning to tell our story more effectively to government officials. The second area of additional focus is the building of a culture of philanthropy. Golf Ontario is in the process of developing a strategy that will anchor our fundraising initiatives over the planned timing horizon. This is an exciting future initiative, and we will say more soon. I would also like to acknowledge and deeply thank Susan Vale for her tireless commitment to Golf Ontario. Sue led the board and supported the leadership of Golf Ontario through a very tumultuous time, and we all emerged from this experience as a stronger organization with a clear vision for the future. Sue's vision of community participation was the impetus for the formation of the regional support strategy. She shared and developed the vision in partnership with Kyle McFarlane, which supported a redefining of participation within the strategic plan. I am very thankful Sue will remain active with our board in the capacity of past president for the next 2 years. It is during these meetings we at Golf Ontario take the time to acknowledge and celebrate the contribution of those supporting the vision of Golf for All. We greatly appreciate your support and look forward to the many opportunities we will embrace in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Up next is Liz Hoffman, Golf Canada's president. Liz has served on Golf Canada's board of directors since 2012 and has been recognized as a leader in Canadian sports as an athlete, coach, and administrator. As a former provincial, national, and international golfer, she continues to share her passion for the game with her husband and their 2 sons. Please welcome Liz Hoffman.
Thanks, Abigail. It's an honor to represent our Golf Canada member clubs and golfers from coast to coast and to bring greetings to the Golf Ontario annual meeting. There are so many friends, colleagues, and contributors to golf in Canada in this virtual room today, and it is certainly great to be with you all. The past few seasons have certainly presented unique opportunities and exciting challenges for our sport in Canada. I want to first acknowledge the hard work of the facility operators and employees and what they faced over the past few seasons with the pandemic. It hasn't been easy, particularly with staff shortages and the costs of operating increasing, coupled with a demand that we've never seen before in our sport. The 2-year surge in play experienced in 2021 was sustained as record levels of investment and engagement within the sport continued in 2022. Golf Canada and the provincial associations work extremely hard to drive value and growth to our individual and facility members, which allows both organizations to support golf services, to invest more in grassroots golf programming, and also to have additional resources available to develop world-class athletes. In 2022, we were lucky to return to full strength in hosting 31 national championships and qualifiers from coast to coast. I'd like to mention the amazing accomplishments by Ontarians in 2022, including a runner-up finish by our Canadian amateur champion, Monet Chung, at the U.S. Women's Amateur. Terrell Samuel winning the British Women's Senior Amateur. And Charles Fitzsimmons successfully defending his Canadian Mid-Am Championship at the Thornhill Club. Congratulations to all on their successful accomplishments. So wonderful to have these athletes within our midst. The CP Women's Open was held in Ontario at the Ottawa Hunt and Golf Club. This event raised more than $3 million for community health, heart health, in support of the CHEO Foundation, and was named the LPGA's Tournament of the Year in 2022. While the RBC Canadian Open, in support of First Tee Canada, was also contested in Ontario at the iconic St. George's Golf Club. Thanks to the major gifts, donations of 8 international trustees, and the continued support of Golf Canada's Foundation network of donors, First Tee Canada is expanding with great pace towards a country-wide rollout in 2023. Canadian high-performance golf has taken on a new trajectory, and with the support of major gifts from champion donors, enhancements to the player development and national player development program introduced in 2022 will include an expanded roster of athletes and coaches, a comprehensive national identification system, the Drive campaign, a major fundraiser led by Golf Canada's Foundation, supports these programs. As the National Federation for Sport, Golf Canada remains committed to creating a safe, diverse, and welcoming environment within our organization and across our sport. This includes a fundamental responsibility to protect the health, safety, and physical and mental well-being of athletes, staff, volunteers, and other participants involved in our sport. As part of this commitment, Golf Canada provides a safe sport online resources, which includes a process for independent third-party reporting. In 2023, we at Golf Canada will join the new national reporting mechanism, which is known as Abuse-Free Sport, and was developed by the Sport Dispute Resolution Centre of Canada. In addition, Golf Canada also strives to be an organization of impact in creating a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion. This commitment is reflected through activities such as First Tee Canada, the Canadian All Abilities Championship, the CP Women's Leadership Summit, the RBC Community Junior Golf Program, the Women in Coaching Program, Golf Canada's community grants to support identified projects of equity-deserving groups, just to name a few. A signature highlight in 2022 was the partnership announced with Osprey Valley Resorts to build a new home for Canadian golf. This will feature a golf campus on the property of TPC Toronto that includes corporate headquarters for Golf Canada and the Canadian Golf Hall of Fame, and will be joined with our friends here, Golf Ontario, and the Golf Club Managers Association of Canada, and others. We're proud of the impact this project will have on the surrounding communities, with phase 1 including a 30,000 square foot community accessible putting green. Phase 2 of the vision includes a national headquarters for the First Tee Canada. Funding for this project will be supported by government and private donors through the Golf Canada Foundation Drive campaign. In closing, I want to thank everyone at Team Golf Ontario. Dr. Susan Vale. Sue, congratulations on a most impactful presidency. And a warm welcome to the 6th woman president of Golf Ontario, Leslie Ferrari. A very special thank you to the board of directors, along with Mike Kelly and his entire staff. Operationally, we are well in sync across all areas of our businesses. On behalf of Golf Canada, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Kyle McFarland as the new Chief Executive Officer of Golf Ontario. Congratulations to you, Kyle, on your new role. I know you are ready to make a significant impact on the sport in the province and in golf in Canada. And the Golf Canada team is so excited to be working with you and alongside you. I also want to offer a heartfelt congratulations to outgoing Chief Executive Officer, Mike Kelly. Mike, you are leaving behind an incredible legacy that you've built through your 17 amazing years of hard work, servicing member golfers and facilities across Ontario. Congratulations on your new role. We are so thankful for your partnership and support through the many years that we've worked hard to forge together. Thank you for everything you've done for the sport of golf in Ontario, and safe travels to you and your family. Thank you, Golf Ontario, for your shared commitment to growing the game within the province of Ontario, and most especially, thank you for always answering our call.
Thank you, Liz. I would now like to welcome Mike Kelly, outgoing CEO of Golf Ontario. Mike, as all of us know, is extremely passionate about golf, and he's excited about the state of the industry. His enthusiasm is contagious. Mike would like to take the time to share his thoughts and a few meaningful moments that he has had with his time at Golf Ontario as he departs for SoCal. Passing over to Mike for his farewell messages.
My fellow colleagues, volunteers, stakeholders, media, and friends. As my time at Golf Ontario comes to a close, I wish to thank all of you for what has been a thrilling and brilliant 17 years. It is impossible for me to fully express my feelings and emotions, but I would like to leave you with a few thoughts, recollections of some powerful moments, and above all else, my deepest gratitude. My Golf Ontario journey began as the OG Mr. Knickers and ends in Hollywood. It has been unpredictable, incredibly fulfilling, and certainly a lot of fun. To say I have tremendous respect and affection for the hundreds of people I have worked with over the years would be a very gross understatement. I have enormous pride in what we have accomplished as one of the golf industry's most admired, innovative, and progressive organizations. We did this together by developing vibrant programs and services, embracing change, and expanding our presence in communities across regions in Ontario. Nothing has been more important to me than the passion of our people, which is evident in everything we created. We've also endeavored to evolve who we are and how we engage with newcomers to the sport, nurturing diverse perspectives and inclusive experiences both in our office and in our communities. I am confident your continued work in this area will remain a top priority. We have an abundance of change in our world today, but the desire for meaningful connections, I'm certain, will endure as the need for access to this sport at all ages continues to grow. We will always gravitate to what binds this amazing community together, enriching experiences with friends, family, and colleagues. I can't think of a more exciting time to be in our business right now. I want to share with you some of the powerful, memorable moments that shaped Golf Ontario and had a lasting impact on me. Of course, we created new golfers through the launch of Mr. Knickers and Friends program, Canada's original golf in schools curriculum that introduced thousands of kids to a fun first experience with the game. We launched the Team Ontario and Junior Golf Development Center program, and I'm honored we played a role in supporting the development and advancement of the next generation of stars. We, of course, debuted the World Junior Golf Championship with our good friends at Golf Canada, which has become one of the elite amateur golf events around the globe, helping to further our efforts to grow girls' golf at all levels. We introduced the Ontario Disability and Ontario Indigenous Championships, demonstrating our commitment to make this sport more inclusive, equitable, and diverse. Serving in the capacity of CEO to achieve these goals was a dream come true, only surpassed by the team I worked alongside. Now, speaking of teammates, our staff retreats were epic, but what happens offsite stays offsite. I wish all of you, and in particular, I wish my successor, Kyle McFarlane, who I consider a great friend and a tremendous leader, nothing but the best as this great team and organization is steered into the future. My one lasting appeal to everyone is to make sure you always keep the fire of innovation burning. Nothing has or will serve us better than the exceptional creativity that comes from passionate staff, board, volunteer stakeholders, and everyone involved in moving the game forward. To the staff and board at Golf Ontario, never lose sight of what makes Golf Ontario an incredibly special place. Your unique culture, marked by shared sense of belonging, joy, camaraderie, and the pride that comes with doing what we do, shaping lives through golf. Well, I'm now on to my next chapter, but the Southern California Golf Association, a revered organization that I'm only fit to lead because of the incredible learning experiences I had at Golf Ontario. And of course, finally, I want to thank my two children, Finn and Caitlin, who have grown up with their dad at Golf Ontario and knew I had one of the coolest jobs in the world. Their love has always fueled me. And of course, I want to thank my wife, Kathleen, my best friend and my partner in all aspects of life. As I head west to SoCal, I'm reminded of these words. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. I will always have and forever will have a deep and personal appreciation and respect for everyone at Golf Ontario. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mike. You will be greatly missed. I think I can speak for everyone when I say California's gain is Ontario's loss. I have known you personally for a very long time, both as a competitive golfer and member of the media, and you have always been a very friendly face to have a conversation with. We wish you continued success and happiness in your new role as Executive Director at the Southern California Golf Association. And now, our next segment is a brief video highlighting Golf Ontario's strategic plan for 2023 to 2026, whose mission is to shape lives by connecting people to positive golf experiences. Hello, I'm the new CEO of Golf Ontario, and I have some exciting news to tell you.
Get out of my office.
Okay, I'm just the host, Abigail Dove, but I do have something important to tell you. There's no doubt that golf is in a great place. But not my short game. Our job now is to continue to create positive golf experiences for all golfers and continue the momentum in Ontario. I know what you're thinking. What great things are coming up next for Golf Ontario? Well, in addition to our last 2 great years of work, we look forward to our new strategic plan and new vision, Golf for All. We also have a new mission, to shape lives by connecting people to positive golf experiences. Our values are also important to us in everything we do. We share our incredible passion for golf with Ontarians. We demonstrate respect and integrity in everything we do. We work as a united team with the goals of a united golf industry. We are accountable, engaged, and committed with our actions, and we strive to be brilliant in everything we do and in the work we deliver. There is no doubt that golf is in a great place, not only in our province, but across the entire country. The surge in participation over the last 2 years has been incredible, and our job now is to continue connecting people to positive golf experiences to enable us to sustain this momentum. During this time of growth, our previous strategic plan has been an important document that has guided Golf Ontario and helped us remain focused in our efforts to support growing the game. We are incredibly proud of the work we have done and are thrilled to have many new initiatives in our toolbox, including First Tee Ontario, Youth on Course, Junior Golf Pathway, and Try Golf Women's Series. We know, though, that there is still much work to be done for us to continue to make golf not only the sport of now, but the sport of the future. With this in mind, there are many areas from the 2022 strategic plan which we will continue to strengthen, including delivering world-class championships and expanding the reach of those events, attracting more women and girls into the game with programs like Try Golf Women's Series and LPGA Girls Golf, implementing our equity, diversity, and inclusion strategic action plan, growing our public player membership category and value for the recreational golfers, and building stronger relationships with our facilities through our regional support strategy. We look to this new strategic plan to push us to do more and to do it better. Each of the 4 strategic pillars is supported by a number of strategic objectives. The strategic objectives and related key success metrics will be reviewed annually, and achieving them will allow us to deliver our mission, to shape lives by connecting people to positive golf experiences. Let's move to our first strategic pillar, participation. Growing the game doesn't stop when the snow flies, and neither does our participation team's work, supporting to make golf's future more accessible, more affordable, and fun for all ages. We will retain significant emphasis on youth and women's participation. In addition, there will be a strong focus on community partnerships, recreational play, and the expansion of our new regional support strategy. All competitions are now in this pillar and will continue to be a strength along with our Junior Golf Pathway initiative. And we have added a new objective for world-class player development and athlete development. We may or may not be eavesdropping, but the membership team is having an important meeting about a new project. This pillar has an increased focus on membership, providing more value to both club and players in both private and public facilities. We will put more resources into further growing public player and facility acquisition. And now for the fun stuff. All of these amazing initiatives are supported and made possible by brilliant people, processes, and policies. With focus on equity, diversity, and inclusion in safe sport in all we do to ensure access to golf for all. We have retained emphasis on policies, financial strength, and workforce to ensure a strong and thriving Golf Ontario. Brand marketing and communication will be a core strategy across all that we do. And perhaps most importantly, we will place significant focus on EDI and safe sport as bedrock principles underpinning all our efforts to ensure golf for all. And the everyone is Golf Ontario's new strategic plan, Golf for All. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the break. We are now going to get into the formal business part of the annual general meeting. I would like to remind registered voting delegates to please ensure you are logged in with the link provided in the confirmation and registration approval sent to you by live meeting. Please also make sure you are logged in using the email address and password you used to register. At this point, I would like to reintroduce Dr. Susan Vale, President of Golf Ontario, to kick off the business meeting.
Good morning again, everyone. On behalf of the Golf Ontario Board of Directors, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this virtual annual general meeting of voting members of Golf Ontario. My name is Susan Vale. I am the Board President of Golf Ontario, and I will act as chair of today's meeting. Golf Ontario's Chief Financial Officer, Asia Crawford, will act as the secretary of the meeting. To formally open, it is my pleasure to welcome all voting members, member facilities, member golf groups, and members of the board of directors. I also want to welcome honorary life directors, past presidents, Golf Ontario volunteers, and other guests joining us virtually today. Please be advised that a copy of Golf Ontario's 2022 annual report is available at gao.ca. Before we begin, I have some instructions for voting. Only voting members or their proxy holders received by the prescribed deadline and in the prescribed form are entitled to take part and vote at this meeting. To make the best use of our time, certain voting members have been asked to move and second the proposals that are called for in the notice of meeting. Each motion to be voted upon will appear on your screen. Once I ask the voting members to vote on a matter presented, a ballot will appear on the right-hand side of each eligible voting member's screens or at the bottom below if using a smartphone. And you will have 30 seconds to vote on the motion on your screen. In order to register your vote, you will have to press the vote button. After that, click on next motion when that motion is called. Should you wish to make a comment or ask a question at the appropriate time during the meeting, I would kindly ask that you do so using the question tab located to the left of the voting tab or at the bottom below if you are using a smartphone. This will allow you to type in your question or comment. We will do our very best to respond to any questions in real time. However, if we are not able to do so, we will respond to all questions and comments as soon as possible after the meeting. Before we begin, I ask Mike Kelly, Chief Executive Officer of Golf Ontario, to confirm the notice of meeting.
I confirm that the notice of the annual general meeting was distributed to all member facilities, member golf groups, and board members on February 3rd, 2023.
Thank you, Mike. I have received a motion from Leslie Ferrari to move that the notice of meeting dated February 3rd, 2023, and sent to all individual voting members and member golf facilities and golf groups of Golf Ontario on February 3rd, in accordance with the bylaws, be taken as read. Thank you, Leslie. I received from Murray Blair a second to the motion. Thank you, Murray. You have heard the motion. Please cast your vote either in favor or against the motion from the drop-down options on your screen. Once you select your voting option, please hit the vote button.
Madam Chair, the Secretary confirms that the motion carries.
Thank you, Asia. With the notice of meeting confirmed and the roll call of members having been completed, Upon logging in, I declare this 22nd meeting of members properly called. As President and Chair of the Board of Directors, I would like to thank my fellow directors for serving with me as members of the Board of Directors this past year. I would also like to pay tribute to a longtime volunteer and past Olga Rules Chair, Catherine K. O'Neill, who passed away on January 16th, 2023. I ask you to join me in a moment of silence in tribute to Catherine and to others in the golfing community who passed away during this past year. Thank you. I would like to extend a special welcome to the many friends, colleagues, and industry partners of Golf Ontario in attendance today, including Golf Ontario past presidents John Gallinger and Morris Watmore, Golf Ontario, Golf Canada, and World Golf Hall of Fame member Marlene Stewart-Street. From Golf Canada, Liz Hoffman, President, Lawrence Applebaum, CEO, and Garrett Ball, COO. The Golf Canada Foundation, Martin Bernard, CEO. From the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Recreation, our consultant, Scott Cooper. Canada Golf Journalists Association, Rick Young, President. And thanks to our many industry partners who have joined us. We Are Golf, a very important organization, includes National Golf Course Owners Association, PGA of Ontario, Canadian Society of Club Managers, the Ontario Golf Superintendent Association. Also thanks to Provincial Golf Association, EDs and Presidents, Northern Golf Association, Ottawa Valley Golf Association, Golf Ontario sponsors, LPGA, PGA Tour of Canada, Corn Ferry, and of course, our many friends in the golf media. The quorum at a meeting of voting members shall be 25 members represented in person or by proxy, each being a member of Golf Ontario or a duly appointed delegate of a member golf facility or golf group. I would ask Asia to confirm that quorum has been met with respect to the number of members represented in person or by proxy.
Madam Chair, I confirm that 16 voting members are present in person virtually today, and 142 proxy votes have been received. I confirm there are 26 votes being represented by 16 voting delegates in person at this meeting. I declare that a quorum is present.
Thank you, Asia. I now declare this meeting properly constituted for the transaction of business. The items of formal business to be conducted at this meeting are described in the notice of meeting previously sent to all voting members and as listed on the agenda, and any other business may be properly brought before the meeting. Our agenda for this meeting is as follows: approval of the agenda, approval of the minutes from previous meeting, receiving the 2022 financial statements, appointment of the auditors for 2023, ratification of business conducted over the past year, approval of a temporary bylaw amendment, and the election of directors. I have received a motion from David Herrera that the agenda as outlined in the notice of meeting be approved. Thank you, David. I have received from Jay Aspen a second to the motion. Thank you, Jay. You have heard the motion. Please cast your vote either in favor or against the motion from the drop-down options on your screen. Once you select your voting option, please hit the vote button. Hmm.
Madam Chair, the Secretary confirms that the motion carries.
Thank you, Asia. Now to the minutes of the last meeting. The minutes of the annual general meeting held on February 28th, 2022 were included with the notice of meeting. I will entertain a motion that the minutes be taken as read and approved. Please click the next motion button on your screen. I have received a motion from Lloyd Kamori, which moves that the minutes of the previous annual general meeting of the Golf Association of Ontario, held on February 28th, 2022, as circulated, be taken as read and verified. Thank you, Lloyd. I have received from Mike Lamontagne a second to the motion. Thank you, Mike. You have heard the motion. Please cast your vote either in favor or against the motion from the drop-down options on your screen. Once you select your voting option, please hit the vote button.
Madam Chair, the Secretary confirms that the motion carries.
Thank you, Asia. On to item 5 on our agenda, presentation of audited financial statements. The Board of Directors has approved the audited financial statements and the auditor's report for the year ended October 31st, 2022. I now place them before the meeting for consideration. The statements were provided with the notice of meeting. I will ask Barbara Baudouin, the Chair of the Finance and Audit Committee, to provide her comments on our financial performance in 2022.
Thank you, Susan. My name is Barbara Baudouin, and I am Chair of the Finance and Audit Committee for Golf Ontario for 2022. You'll find the audited financial statements for the year ending October 31st, 2022, provided in the link in the annual meeting information package you all received. The services of BDO LLP were retained. The audit was conducted in November. It was reported to the F&A committee in December and approved by the board in January. We received a clean audit with an unqualified opinion. I'd just like to tell you a few of the highlights. I'm especially impressed with how membership has changed, and this, of course, is the goal for all of us, right? More people playing golf. The overall membership revenue grew by over $359,000 year over year, with golf participation and facility growth continuing in 2022. Individual memberships at clubs were up 4% from the previous year. And most impressive was our public player memberships at an increase of 18% from the prior year. That's just wonderful. The success of the regional support strategies continue, resulting in a 7% annual growth in facilities memberships, and of course, with all those new public players. Wonderful. Competitions and tournaments, as the exit from COVID pandemic continues, we, this past year, had all of our tournaments and championships on schedule. They were all done, all completed without a hitch, pleased to say, and we certainly congratulate all the winners and the champs from 2022. We couldn't do our work without some of the grants received and with our sponsorship and partners. Our sponsorships are through TaylorMade, Adidas, and Play Myrtle Beach Golf. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your assistance. As for grants, the Provincial Sport Organization for Golf in Ontario is a non-for-profit, and the grant revenue that our association receives is very important to us. We are grateful to the Ministry of Tourism and Culture and Sport for the funding that we continue to receive from the Ontario Amateur Sport Fund, Quest for Gold, and the federal government for their continued investment in employing youth through the Canada Summer Jobs Opportunity. This year, fiscal year, Golf Ontario had the privilege to partner with the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport again and distribute a total of $455,000 to over 170 eligible member facilities. I know my own club received a small grant from this organization to help with our junior play, and it's just wonderful to see. In conclusion, I'd just like to say Golf Ontario continues to maintain a strong financial position and is well positioned to deliver on our strategic objectives to grow the game. We'll continue to pursue our mission to shape lives through golf and connect people to positive golfing experiences through the vision of Golf for All. This concludes my report. I move that we receive the 2022 year-end financial statements for Golf Ontario. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barb. Please click the next motion button on your screen. I have received from Julian Franklin a second to the motion. Thank you, Julian. You have heard the motion. Please cast your vote either in favor or against the motion from the drop-down options on your screen. Once you select your voting option, please hit the vote button.
Madam Chair, the Secretary confirms that the motion carries.
Thank you, Asia. Okay, on to our next item of business is the appointment of auditors. Please click the next motion button on your screen. I move that the firm of BDO Canada LLP Chartered Accountants be reappointed as auditors until their successors are appointed, and that the Finance and Audit Committee of the Board of Directors be authorized to fix their remuneration. I have received from David Herrera a second to the motion. Thank you, David. We will proceed with the vote on the motion. Please cast your vote either in favor or against the motion from the drop-down options on your screen. Once you select your voting option, please hit the vote button.
Madam Chair, the Secretary confirms that the motion carries.
Thanks again, Asia. We are now at item 7 on our agenda, the ratification of business conducted over the past year. Included in the notice of meeting was a copy of all motions approved by the Board of Directors from February 28th, 2022 to January 17th, 2023. I will entertain a motion that the acts and business conducted by the Board of Directors since the adjournment of the annual general meeting of February 28th, 2022 be ratified. Please click the next motion button on your screen. I have received a motion from Nancy Bertrand, which moves to ratify the acts and business conducted by the Board of Directors of Golf Ontario since the adjournment of the annual general meeting held on February 28th, 2022. Thank you, Nancy. I've received from Lloyd Kamori a second to the motion. Thank you, Lloyd. We will proceed with a vote on the motion. Please cast your vote either in favor or against the motion from the drop-down options on your screen. Once you select your voting option, please hit the vote button.
Madam Chair, the Secretary confirms that the motion carries.
Thank you. On to item 8 on our agenda, approval of a bylaw amendment. Our next item of business is the approval of a temporary bylaw amendment. The report of the nominating committee was included with the notice of meeting. As outlined in the report of the nominating committee, upon receipt of the CEO's resignation, it was decided that to assist with board and organizational stability, the board would pause for 1 year before welcoming any new directors. And 3 directors, having completed 2 consecutive 3-year terms, be nominated for an additional 1-year term. I will entertain a motion that the temporary bylaw amendment listed in the nominating committee report be approved. Please click the next motion button on your screen. I have received a motion from David Herrera, which moves to approve the temporary bylaw amendment to Article 3.8, specifically 3.8.1 transition year, as outlined in the nomination report. Thank you, David. I've received from Mike Lamontagne a second to the motion. Thank you, Mike. We will proceed with the vote on the motion. Please cast your vote either in favor or against the motion from the drop-down options on your screen. Once you select your voting option, please hit the vote button.
Madam Chair, the Secretary confirms that the motion carries.
Thank you, Asia. Our next item of business is the election of directors, Part 1. The report of the nominating committee was included with the notice of meeting. As outlined in the report of the nominating committee, the board motioned to approve the election of Jay Aspin, Barbara Baudouin, and myself to remain as directors for 1 additional year, subsequent to the preceding approval of the temporary bylaw amendment. I will entertain a motion that these directors listed in the nominating report be approved. Please click the next motion button on your screen. I've received a motion from Leslie Ferrari, which moves to approve the election of the 3 directors listed in the nominating committee report for 1 additional year. Thank you, Leslie. I've received from Mike Lamontagne a second to the motion. Thank you, Mike. We will proceed with the vote on the motion. Please cast your vote either in favor or against the motion from the drop-down options on your screen. Once you select your voting option, please hit the vote button.
Madam Chair, the Secretary confirms that the motion carries.
Thank you. Our next item of business is Part 2 of the election of the directors. The report of the nominating committee was included with your notice of meeting. As outlined in the report, there are 2 individuals nominated for a second 3-year term, Nancy Bertrand and Lloyd Kamori. Thomas Yeo was approved by the board of directors to fulfill the remaining term of Sheldon Chetron ending February 2024. I will entertain a motion that these directors listed in the nominating report be approved. Please click the next motion button on your screen. I've received a motion from Barb Baudouin, which moves to approve the election of Nancy Bertrand, Lloyd Kamori, and Thomas Yeo. Thank you, Barb. I have received from Jay Aspin a second to the motion. Thank you, Jay. We will proceed with the vote on the motion. Please cast your vote either in favor or against the motion from the drop-down options on your screen. Once you select your voting option, please hit the vote button.
Madam Chair, the Secretary confirms that the motion carries.
Wonderful. At this time, I would like to introduce to you the Board of Directors of Golf Ontario for 2023. President Leslie Ferrari, Ladies Golf Club of Toronto, and Vice President Mike Lamontagne, Hamilton Golf and Country Club. And then in alphabetical order, our remaining directors, Jay Aspen, Barb Baudouin, Nancy Bertrand, Murray Blair, Julian Franklin, David Herrera, Lloyd Komori, myself, and Thomas Yeo. On to item 11 on our agenda. I would now like to take this opportunity to thank Howard Atkinson for his service over the past 8 years. In 2022, Howard remained on the board as past president and a non-voting member. Over the years, he has been a valuable member of all of our board committees, including finance, governance, HR and compensation, and nominating, as well as our more recent CEO search committee. Howard's assistance was invaluable. He always brings a much appreciated balanced perspective to our discussions and decisions. Howard, on behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff of Golf Ontario, we would like to thank you for your many contributions and what you have been in such a vital role during the ongoing success of the organization. We will certainly miss working with you. And now, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Kyle McFarlane, who, as most of you already know, will replace Mike Kelly as the next CEO of Golf Ontario beginning March 1st. Since 2004, Kyle has demonstrated tremendous dedication to this organization and has been directly involved with its successful operation and financial growth. Kyle understands that our member facilities are the heart of our organization and the importance of establishing collaborative partnerships with both clubs and community leaders. Without further ado, I pass it over to Kyle, who would like to say a few words.
Thanks, Sue. I look ahead to 2023 with tremendous excitement as I assume my new role as CEO of Golf Ontario. I would like to thank the Board of Directors led by President Sue Vale and Vice President Leslie Ferrari for their confidence in me to lead this association through the next chapter. I've been with this association for almost 20 years and been fortunate to work under two great leaders in Mike Kelly and Dave Mills. They've both taught me so much in our years together and have ultimately prepared me for this opportunity to lead Golf Ontario moving forward. The association has never been in a better position for success. We have a great strategic plan built on the pillars of participation, performance, membership, and organizational strength, and an even better team to execute against it. I'm absolutely thrilled to work with our amazing staff, incredible board, and valued stakeholders to drive our mission of shaping lives by connecting people with positive golf experiences. Golf Ontario is a world-class operation. Looking ahead, we will continue our commitment to building strong relationships with our partners through the expansion of our regional support strategy and associated participation programming. Our commitment to the development of the next generation of young performance-level golfers will be unwavering as we enhance the junior golf pathway. And working in alignment with our national partners at Golf Canada, we will commit the resources needed to ensure the core services and value-added benefits remain at the forefront of our member servicing efforts, thus enhancing the membership experience for all golfers and facility partners throughout the province. Our team relentlessly ensures we have the policies and internal controls in place so that our financial, operational, reputational risks are mitigated and the organizational strength is maintained. Our relationships with our We Are Golf partners, Golf Canada, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport, and our corporate partners are as strong as they've ever been. We will continue to work with all our stakeholders to further achieve measurable and mutually beneficial success across the industry. As my colleague and friend Mike Kelly moves on to sunnier weather in California, I reflect on the impact he leaves behind. Under Mike's leadership, this association has launched new programs, events, initiatives that have had a tremendous impact on the association and a lot of golfers in Ontario. From the early years of Mr. Knickers and Friends, or the Golf in Schools program, to the launch of the World Junior Girls Championship, and more recently, the introduction of the All Abilities and Indigenous Ontario Championships, Mike leaves quite a legacy in Ontario golf. I'm proud to have been part of these great accomplishments under his leadership and been able to build on the momentum they have created. At the same time, we will now focus on the opportunities ahead and that paths that lie ahead of us, working strategically with our industry partners to demonstrate our commitment to our new vision, Golf for All. I'm excited to be Golf Ontario's next CEO and energized for what the future holds. I promise that I'll always strive to shape lives through this sport, and our vision, Golf for All, will always be our North Star. I look forward to our many days ahead together. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. We feel so fortunate to have you. And Mike, we feel so fortunate to have had you. Golf Ontario is truly blessed. Last item on our agenda, item 12. In the notice of meeting that was sent February 3rd, members were asked to deliver to the CEO all other business that was to be brought before the annual general meeting of members before February 23rd. There being no other business, I declare this annual general meeting of members be adjourned. I would like to thank everyone for attending the 22nd annual general meeting of Golf Ontario and wish you all a great day.